here in rainy ass Sanford, Florida this weekend. As soon as we walked in the door, it started pouring. We got some good shit today. We just got some good shit today. I mean, you ain't got, look, you ain't got, you pleading the fifth just puts it on you in the first place. If you ain't say shit, wouldn't nobody know? But irregardless, oh, you just never should have gave you niggas money. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, they still owe us.
But irregardless, we got a good show. We got some relationship shit to talk about today. We got some who owe? Oh.
But no one listens.
Don't ask me nothing. I ain't got shit for you.
No.
But
you gotta collect what you owe.
Oh, that's true. I don't know if y'all watch this podcast. I keep sending y'all stuff from it. From Shits and Gigs, the two young British guys.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I just been on a tear watching all their shit this week, and
I gotta check them out. You have been sending me a lot of this stuff.
Yeah,
they must be hilarious because I know you.
So, and it's so funny because the one that popped up right now literally says, "What's the worst thing a female has done on a date?"
The worst thing.
The worst thing.
Has done on a date.
So,
no, that's not the worst.
I want to open up the show with that question today. Let's start with that today. You don't know if you have a worst thing?
Is this the worst thing that we've heard or the worst thing that happened to us?
No, the worst thing that's happened to you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
On a date.
Usually when it starts getting kind of bad, I'll leave.
On a date, you just walk out?
Yeah, if I'm on a date, I don't owe you nothing.
I'm just asking because I'm asking because I'm the same philosophy.
Yeah. I mean, the reason why I say that is usually when it's a worse thing, unless something sporadically happens, there's like a progression of getting bad. It just goes from worse to worse.
All right, so what's the worst snowball effect date you've had? Like where you literally saw the red flags from the time you talked to her and got her number, and you knew this was going to end up fucked up. But she said, "Hold my beer," and took it a whole nother level that you just weren't even ready for.
So I was around 19, 20, and I had gone to my doctor's office for a checkup at Northwestern Memorial Hospital.
Okay.
Everything checks out fine as I'm leaving. Walking down the hall, this beautiful nurse was walking the opposite direction, and she was just stunning. And so I just kind of looked at her, and she just caught me. She smiled and said hi. I said hi. We exchanged names, numbers. I said, you have a man? No. You have a woman? No. You want to go out to dinner? Sure. So, planned a date, picked her up, went to dinner, took her to one of my favorite restaurants in Chicago, having a great dinner. And so out of the blue, she says, how do you like my chest? And I'm like, huh? She goes, well, how do you like my chest?
How you like these titties?
And I said, well, based on what you're wearing, it's kind of difficult to tell, but I wasn't focused on those. I was focused on our conversation. And she said, well, I think they should be, they can be bigger, perkier. Now, mind you, this woman's about the same age as me, maybe a year or two older. So I thought, one, it's interesting that someone that young is already talking about enhancing themselves. And then two, out of nowhere, she says, well, if things work out between us, I'd like for you to consider purchasing a boob job for me. And so I just kind of sat there staring at her. Because I'm thinking, oh, this is a joke. There's a punchline coming somewhere. So let me wait for it.
Ain't no joke. Ain't no joke. She was for real.
There was a joke.
Yes. And paying for dinner. And so I was like, you're serious? She goes, yeah. She goes, I can see a future with us. I'll do some things for you. You can do some things for me. And I was thinking, oh, she's one of these types. So I said,
I ain't saying she a gold digger.
but at that age, I was definitely a broke nigga. So,
But props to her because not even that part. Here's the kicker. This is the part that I'm like, good for her. She had the foresight to see that this motherfucker's gonna be somebody. She looked at you and saw the potential that you didn't even see in yourself at the time, that you didn't even know you had yet. She already forecast that this motherfucker's going places. Let me get on his coattails now while he broke. So when he really make it, and I've been the one feeding his ego and stroking his ego and feeding his dream, he gonna take care of me.
and draining his Cigar. So needless to say,
Oh shit!
I was beyond pissed off and felt like this was a waste of time. So
you didn't smash?
the waiter asked if we wanted dessert. I was like, no. If you want to check, yes. So got the check and drove her home. Walked her to her doorstep. Are you gonna come in? No. Can I have a kiss? Give her a hug. Kiss on the forehead, which is the kiss of death, of course. And then I left. Never saw her.
I don't know. I think you should have smashed for the free the first night, because you was gonna smash. She's gonna give you a sample. Like that was evident. That was a free coochie coupon that you like let expire.
At 20, I just didn't see it that way. At 20, I saw it as, all right, whatever I get, what is it? I solely thought about the whole money grabbing.
Oh, okay, all right.
That's how I saw it. So I didn't. It's as beautiful as she was, the attraction just went
Immediately
away.
went away.
Yeah.
All right.
So
I get that.
So yeah. So that's the worst that's happened.
MB, what up?
So that's the worst that's actually happened to me. The worst that's happened to somebody I know was that they were on a date with a young lady, and they were in the bathroom of a nightclub in Chicago, and she was orally servicing him, and he happened to be drunk, and at the moment he was busting one, he threw up on her. And she comes running out of the bathroom of the club, runs past everybody with a combination of vomit and
baby batter.
Yes, and then kids.
Hey.
So, and he comes out the bathroom like, oh, I tried to hold it. I was trying to tell her, but I gotta go.
And she thought it was the other one.
Yes.
She got a 2 for 1.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Oh shit, that is hilarious. That's fucking wild.
And you?
Well, we're gonna take a break real quick just to say that I'm smoking this illegal weed.
Okay.
What are you smoking?
Wild Hunter.
All right.
Oscar Valdez. Oscuro. Right.
What you over there smoking there, Steve? You don't know what you're smoking? Can't read that.
Yeah.
I mean, mine is a little wild because it's been a while since it happened. But at a cigar shop hanging out, next door there's a wine shop called Vine and Barley. So they have wine and beer. And they got, appetizers, tapas plates and shit like that. So me and a couple of my friends, we go in there after having a couple of cigars. We're like, oh, let's look at the talent, see what's up in there, whatever. Get a couple beers and chill out. So just in there, look up, and there's this woman looking at me at the bar. And I don't know if she's looking at me or she's just looking around, but like we catch each other's eyes. And I'm like, dang. I'm like, Pretty little thing.
Okay.
You know, about 4'10".
Okay.
Clearly a cheerleader, could have been a stripper.
Or a gymnast.
You know what I'm saying? Just,
Mm-hmm.
but very
Sport
well
model.
put together. Yeah, sport model.
Mm-hmm.
Always. But so I just walk over to her, and I'm like, don't mean to be rude, blah blah blah. Just wanted to let you know I find you attractive. If you'd like a drink later on, let me know. And I walk off. I mean, yeah, I ain't a player. I just crush a lot, but
Yeah.
So about 15 minutes later, I'm walking by, and her friend grabs me. She's like, "Hey, you promised my girl a drink," and I was like, "No, I didn't promise her one, but I said if she'd like one, then I would buy her one." And she was like, "Well, we all want drinks," and I was like, "Well, I'm not interested in all of y'all." And so I go back over. She gets up. She comes with me. We go around. We spend about 45 minutes together, just sampling different wines and everything like that. And so then I'm getting ready to leave, and I'm like, it's great seeing you, great getting to meet you. I'd like to hang out with you. You know, if you're not doing anything tomorrow, I'd definitely like to meet you. There was a nice little local restaurant. I was like, I'd definitely like to meet you there and have dinner with you. And it was, well, my husband eats dinner there all the time, so I can't.
Okay.
And that was the first red flag.
Yeah.
But at the age of 32, 33, 32, 31, 31, that shit made my heart race. I was like, oh, well, this seems like a challenge. So, y'all know me now. So imagine me then. We're talking about 10 years removed. No kids, no nothing. Just young and dumb.
Sounds like a dirtbag.
Oh, 100%. 100%. So I'm like, all right, well, cool. Well, why don't we meet somewhere else that's out of town or out of the way, and we can hang out and have our date. So we end up going 2 cities over, and went to a Buffalo Wild Wings and had dinner and drinks. We're talking. Shit goes down in the parking lot. Goes back to the place I'm at, and then now we're like in this weird relationship because she's got 3 kids. Come to find out, her kids and my god kids are, the boys are on the same football team, the girls are cheerleaders on the same cheerleading squad. So now every time I go to the games, I'm seeing her and her husband and their kids.
Awkward.
So she went on for 3.5 years.
What? That's a long time.
Like, I love that girl. Like, I was in love with her.
3.5 years though?
Like, bro, when I say, yeah.
Same girl.
Literally. And
Man, you could have wrote an R. Kelly song with that.
it was, we would go to cheerleading competitions. We came to Orlando before I moved here. Came to Orlando for a cheerleading competition. I'm at the Shingle Creek. She's up there. She ends up coming to my hotel room. She doesn't know that he has her location on her iPhone. Shows up to my hotel room. So I answer the door in the bathroom with a pistol. I'm like, how can I help you? He was like, oh, I'm looking for my wife. I'm like, your wife ain't here. I was like, I'm trying to fucking sleep. You knocking on my door. He's like, oh, my fault. That's when I find out he's a Broward County sheriff.
He didn't announce himself as such?
No. Because he came in uniform. So she never told me all this. So that's flag number, that's flag number 7.
Ain't no flags, man. You should have dropped this ball a long time ago, bro.
And I'm gonna tell you why I did. And I'm gonna be very honest with you.
Said he loved it.
I love that
He's
girl.
a lover. That's what Gucci Man said.
When I say I love that girl,
Everybody in Ashanti.
I would do stupid shit like show up to the house while he's in the house. She'll open the bathroom window and I'll fucking through the bathroom.
What?
Like, I was just ignorant. Like, I'm talking about on some shit that's like,
Man, you took some serious risks.
And everybody was like, and other people knew. So when they found out who he was, they're like, you know who he is? And I'm like, they ain't stopped making guns when they made his. And I was like, and I'm still of that same mentality. If she want to give me something, she gonna give me something.
What's true?
That's true. I mean, if it wasn't you, it's gonna be somebody else.
That's what and that's always been my philosophy.
I just don't
like
do that.
somebody's gonna get some good shit. Why not me?
And you were willing to take these risks.
I mean, at that point, I ain't had nothing to lose. Like I said, no kids, no nothing. I was just
You were just wild and free, sound out here, roaming the range.
That's how you get killed. You're real. I can't do it.
yeah. So I mean, it was bad.
So when did you first realize you had that kind of edge about you? When did that kind of take root in you? Because you told me you were more shy when you were younger.
So I want to say,
when do you think it kicked in? Was it puberty or?
No. This was probably like after my first deployment in the military.
Okay.
Like I think I was a good 21 by this time.
Okay.
20. I was 20, and that's the reason that it came out that way, because when I first got to Germany, I met a woman, and she was showing me around and everything. And this is a beautiful sister, but she's literally 20 years older than me. She's in her 40s. I'm 19 years old. We end up like hanging out, dating.
Something on 42 shit.
And then found out that it's one of our base commander's wife.
Oh, so this is happening before.
Base commander's wife.
So
from then,
you're used to this kind of edge.
So from then, I was just like, once that happened, I was like, man, like there's definitely something to me. I can pull this shit off.
Yeah, I have to say that if you're dealing with a base commander,
because you're thinking about like I'm in
somebody who works for the sheriff department ain't nothing.
Right.
That.
Like
ruin your entire life.
I'm an E4, you know what I'm saying, which is still a peon, and she's married to a fucking colonel. Like our bank accounts is like not even in the same fucking zip code. It's not even in the same continent. I'm literally the McDonald's dollar worker, hourly employee, and this is fucking Ray Kroger. You feel me? Like that's the difference. So I'm like, well, shit. If I can get her,
that's because McDonald's don't miss.
they don't miss. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, if I can get her, then I need to have more confidence in myself. And after that, the bar was set. And I was like, how much more ignorant can I be? Like, and Steve will tell you, like, when you're that young, you go in the military, and you don't have anything else, like, there's nothing holding you back. Yeah. You feel invincible anyway.
Yeah.
So when you get that type of attention from that caliber of woman, you just like,
you feel like you can do whatever you want.
I'm like Iverson, like practice.
Mm-hmm.
Like for what?
Yeah.
Like I'm shooting 100 for 100 every time I go.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think it's that confidence, and it was very. I'll admit, it was very borderline on confidence and arrogance for a while. Like I was very arrogant, and it was because of that. And then I had to implement a rule, which I've told y'all before, the once a year rule, because I needed to humble myself. Because I'm like, man, I'm out here wilding. Like I gotta have some semblance of morality and common sense at some point. Because I can't just go through life like I wasn't raised like this. You know what I mean?
But it does seem like there's something with men in those formative years in their 20s where they just it's that feeling of invincibility.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of dealt with some of that from my time playing sports and stuff. I was getting my name noticed in the newspaper and getting a lot of attention, and I was, big man on the school campus. You know, I was getting away with stuff that other people couldn't get away with. You know, so yeah, so I get it. I get it to an extent and how it could take you away. I couldn't even imagine what it would be like to be the big man on campus at a Division I school if you're playing football or basketball. You know, where you just have everything just
Right.
handed to you.
Like you're known nationwide.
Yeah, I can't even imagine what that would be like today. It would take a lot to stay grounded and keep you grounded. And that was one of the things we talked a little about before that I appreciated about it. You still got to watch that untold story on Manti Te'o.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He could have had any woman he wanted on Notre Dame campus at that time, but because of his faith and the way he was raised, he stayed dedicated to this woman who didn't exist for 3 years. That's incredible.
Now see that, and that for me, that's borderline like
He's
that
definitely
borders
naive.
that borders on damn near insanity to me.
But think about it. He's a top football player, playing linebacker at a Catholic school. His time is limited. So for him, it was like, oh, she's not in front of me, I'm not in front of her, I don't have to worry about her asking to spend time with me and all that kind of stuff. I can focus on school and football. And then we talk and we text and I'm cool with that, even though I've developed this emotional attachment. I don't have to worry about her making any demands on my time.
And I guess
he was super focused.
Yeah, he was super focused.
And I guess for me, because that's where I differ from a lot of males, is that I'm more of as much as I'm a hard ass and an asshole, like I'm more of an emotional attachment person. So if I form an emotional attachment with you,
he did.
Then we need to have something.
And you know something else I thought about with him? I don't think he had much of experience with girls at all.
But he probably didn't have any girlfriends before he went to college.
I would have thought growing up in Hawaii, all those pretty Polynesian, Samoan Hawaiian.
But it's like you said before, he's so focused, laser focused on this objective.
You gotta watch it.
All that. Like when you watch, like if you watch that, you can't. I don't care what school you go to or what team you're a fan of. You can't be but amazed at somebody that's that focused on it.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, his dad
so
trained
focused,
training him as a little boy.
Like nothing matters. He literally
kept
as a
that
little boy
discipline.
just said,
That's that Tebow discipline.
Yeah, he had that same kind of discipline.
He just was like, he at a young age just said, "That's what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do everything to get to it." And he didn't quit.
And he was the oldest of 7. His dad was making $300 every 2 weeks. He knew the only way he could go to college was to get a scholarship.
$300 every 2 weeks.
And he's
In Hawaii,
in Hawaii, and he's one of 7.
You might as well just not work. You know. I mean, hey. Shout out to him for the discipline, like his.
Yeah.
That's why it sucks. That's why his story sucks so much.
Yeah. And then people questioning him, thinking he was proud of it.
To take somebody that focused, somebody that driven.
Nah.
I mean, genuinely trying to do the right thing, and
Yeah.
then people to just shit on him like that. That's not cool at all.
The one thing I did
I just
find fault with him was that when he did tell his dad he'd met her before, because he had to save face.
You know the reality of it when he said that, like when he said that in an interview, I really just like thought back to myself, like I'm his age. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
I've said that before. Yeah. I've totally said that before.
Yeah.
Oh, you talked to this girl? Yeah. We was hanging out over here.
Yeah.
You know, you say your mom asked you where you been. I went down the street.
Yeah.
I mean, to him, that was a white lie because
He needed to get past that.
he had to get past that moment because the way you know how when you're, I mean, you have kids, you have an older child, so a daughter that understand, you understand that whole process of she's gonna lie because she knows that eventually it'll come out okay if she thinks the situation is okay. She thinks she has full control over that situation until it don't, because she doesn't anymore.
Yeah.
You think, oh, everything's gravy until it's bad, and that's how it was with him. I think he thought he had full control of that situation until it came out that this wasn't a real person. He was being hoped.
Yeah. It is nice now to see now he is married and has a child of his own now. So, but
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So
Like he got over that shit.
he did. He did. And for him to be so upfront and forward with his story is a testament to his strength.
You can tell in the story, he was being super honest.
He was.
He didn't have any real, at that point, he didn't have no more shame about it. He
No.
could tell them like it was.
Yeah, he told the straight truth. So spirit-wise,
Yes.
tour. I had some mezcal here the other week called Banhez, Banhez.
Mm-hmm.
That I really liked a lot. It's not that expensive either. It was like 8 for a glass, I think 10 for a double, something like that. But more and more restaurants that I'm going to, I'm finding
More mezcal.
are starting to have mezcal. And it's interesting, anytime I ask for a drink at a restaurant that has mezcal in it, without fail, the waiter or waitress says, "Are you okay with a smoky taste?" Because a lot of people think mezcal is just a
Heavier tequila.
heavier tequila, and then they get it because they want to try it, and then they don't like it. And I said, "No, I like that smoky flavor." And it seems like it's one of those things, kind of like
That's good that they know the difference between them, and they're making sure that the consumer is going to know the difference between it.
yeah, but it's weird though, because bartenders and or waiters and waitresses don't ask that about if you make certain bourbon or whiskey choices. They never say to you, "Are you okay? Are you sure you like this? Because it's very peaty." You don't hear that.
Well, I think more so because there's not a genuine distinction between tequila and mezcal as far as in the general public. People just assume it's all the same shit. They just call it something different. Whereas, from certain Scotch makers, you already know it's going to be super peaty. It's going to be heavy. Like, you just know that going in because their name recognition is just that big and broad that even if you haven't had it, you know somebody who's had it or who likes it, and they tell you, like, oh, this is like this. But mezcal, as long as it's been around, it's not really been a staple drink that people just go to the bar and order.
It's not.
So,
yeah, and it's the popularity is starting to ramp up.
Sidebar: I was listening to a tequila expert destroy Casamigos.
Really?
Destroy them because Casamigos has a vanilla flavor to it, a subtle vanilla note. And to be a true tequila,
my palate's not sophisticated because I don't pick that vanilla up in it. Do you?
I don't drink it. I only drink the Repo.
That's what I drink.
Yeah. No, we're talking about the Blanco.
Oh, you know what? I've never had the Casamigos Blanco, so I can't.
But he was saying
I haven't really paid attention to taste.
he went in depth. This is like a fucking 15-minute dissertation on why it's shit tequila.
This person must be a sommelier.
Because of the fact that they add vanilla flavoring.
You're not supposed to do that.
Right.
But
he's like, you can't call it a true tequila because
I think you can.
Tequila is a specific. I mean, it's the same thing with bourbon and whiskey.
You know why I think you can call
there's a distinction.
You know why I think you can call it a tequila? Because it is tequila, but you have to classify it as a flavored tequila. And I think maybe that's part of the distinction. He picks up a vanilla note, and it doesn't say anything about a vanilla on the bottle. So I think they should just be transparent about what it has.
And that's what he was alluding to. He's like, if you want to have it flavored, cool, not a big deal, not a problem. But don't call it. I mean, that's like, people are like
straight Blanco.
Yeah. Well, that's like with me. I have this huge thing. Like, no disrespect to the vegans and the vegetarians, but don't call vegan meals fucking real food meals. Don't tell me you about to go get a Philly cheesesteak and it's made with fucking eggplant. Like, that shit ain't a Philly cheesesteak. I don't care how fucking good it looks. It ain't a Philly cheesesteak. Because it ain't fucking steak. It ain't even cheese because you don't do milk.
What?
You feel me? You want to hear some Peter Griffin, what grinds my gears shit? That shit.
Yeah, call it
what it is.
It's an eggplant sandwich.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
And that's fine. I mean, because props to people. I like eggplant, so call it what it is.
Like, so now you're telling me like your eggplant sandwich, identifies as a Philly cheesesteak? Fuck out of here.
No, it doesn't have the right to change its gender.
Like, disrespectfully, like no respect at all on that. Like, not putting no respect on your fake name.
Yeah, call it what it is.
Like, it is what it is, and be proud of it. Like, that's what you like. Cool.
Yeah, just like stuff with tofu. Call it what it is.
Yeah, tofurkey.
Yeah, just call it tofu. Just call it what it is.
You just gotta be old. You gotta be an old Ajima to make my tofu.
You said what? You gotta be old Ajima. What?
You said it's like Korean for that'd be an old lady.
Oh, Ajima. Oh, okay.
Ajima.
I thought you said IG model. I'm like, where the fuck is he going with this? Like, we want some whole other shit. I thought you were about to bring up Miss Austin White or something.
Yeah. I don't know if you can. I can understand why somebody would be so particular about that tequila. What would you classify the liquor?
Well, it has to be a flavored tequila. You can't call it.
It's still
Blanco vanilla.
But when you say it isn't a tequila, that's not saying it's not.
He's saying it's not a. He's saying it's not a traditional tequila because that's how they brand themselves.
That's true.
They brand themselves as a traditional tequila company.
They should. That's not right.
No, they shouldn't. But even then, it's one of those things. The real is the real. It's just like with bourbon. If a bourbon is made quality the way it's supposed to be made, if you really fuck with bourbon like that, and you really got a good palate, you're not gonna call the shit real bourbon.
Yeah.
So it's one of those.
It's gotta be 51%.
Now think about it this way: when you think about the demographic of people who drink Casamigos Blanco?
Fucking stop. Fucking stop, bro. Fucking stop. Next subject. We're done. We're done.
I'm not being 100. We just talking about demographics. Individuals that drink Casamigos Blanco.
Don't give a fuck.
Don't really care.
Don't give a fuck.
No, they're still caught up in the fact that it's owned by George Clooney and
Randy, they just got over drinking Fireball.
And Randy Garber.
That's just like drilling down
I didn't even know
on
his name.
that's just like drilling down on the quality of Hennessy as a cognac.
And we talk about Hennessy.
Man, Hennessy. In comparison to like your higher end.
Still got that bottle of Hennessy White.
Yeah.
No.
And that white is fire.
Why would I?
I hate that they don't sell out here. They've never said why they don't sell it in the United States.
Because it's not true.
But they sell so much of it though.
But no, it's not a true cognac.
They still sell a shitload of it though. It is good.
It's good.
But when you drink it, you're like, this ain't real.
Mm-hmm.
No. It's like it don't even. It tastes so different than.
Different.
You can say this ain't real, but you can also say it's real good.
You know what it tastes like? It tastes like they made some sort of cognac concentrate, put it in some water, and stirred it around.
You're like, how can we stretch this shit out?
And how can we make this have an alcoholic taste to it?
Yeah, they should have called it Blue Magic.
Cut this shit.
Baking soda. I got baking soda. But no. Spirit wise, I've been on the Hendrix again. Like now they got a new one, 2 new ones that are the botanicals. So they're infused with botanical essential oils and shit like that, and they've been alright. I mean,
now isn't botanicals another name for plant based?
Yeah, absolutely.
Botanicals is just all fancy.
But we've got like an elderberry, lavender,
Which
is good on its own because, as you know, like I'm just not a gin person.
I know you're not.
So, but Hendrix I like, just like St. Augustine's.
You sipping meat?
No. So on that, I would do club soda.
Okay.
And lime.
Okay.
Because I hate tonic water. The quinine and tonic water, my palate does not receive it well. It's just bitter. Like I might as well literally just put a grapefruit in my mouth after I brush my teeth or drink orange juice. Like it just gives that bitter acidic taste that just ruins everything. So I'm not. My girl loves the tonic and Hendrix and lime, but I got to get and now I've even got I cheated Poland Springs makes a club soda lime. So I just mix that automatically. I don't even have to cut the lime or lime juice or anything. But I've been drinking on that. We got a half gallon last week, and I think it's time to renew it. We got that on Saturday.
You did it ABC or total?
Total. Yeah. But yeah, I haven't. Oh no, and then Thursday night, I drank. No, sorry, Wednesday night, my birthday. I drank some Old Scout. I think the bottle that Steve gave me.
And this is the first show we've done post birthday. So again, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Welcome to the Grown Man Club.
Yeah, you know.
I say that loud.
Say whatever the fuck you want.
It's on the faucet.
Still here.
I identify as a 25-year-old.
Whatever you want. Cool. Old as fuck.
Don't worry, you catching up, motherfucker. Don't worry.
If I catch up, that means you dead.
Well, I've lived a
At
good
least you know
life.
something I don't know.
But then,
age is a good thing.
So tell the people, how did you celebrate your birthday?
Yeah, how do you celebrate your birthday?
I see.
So
I didn't hear from you all day on your birthday, so I'm thinking he took the day off. He's had breakfast made for him. The girls are taking care of him. Woman's taking care of him. He's getting treated like a king.
So, yes, my lady did get up, made me breakfast, brought it to me in bed, gave me a twerk show,
Nice.
got the kids ready, and then she went to work.
Okay.
So that was great. Then I went to work.
And it makes me cry.
Okay.
And then I said, 2 hours after I got to work, I'm never working on my birthday again.
Good.
Like, this shit is for the fucking birds.
And it's tough too, especially when your birthday is like basically in the middle of the week.
Right, it was Wednesday. It was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Mine was on Tuesday.
It's like, God damn, this is hump day.
Everybody's like, why you
That
say
shit
that?
felt long as hell.
My birthday this year is on a Friday.
And then the lady took me to Enzo's on the Lake. The Saturday before my birthday, we went to Enzo's on the Lake out in Castleberry, and that was just that place is just beautiful. Beautiful.
And now Enzo's is for sale.
It is for sale.
You got 4 million, you got Enzo's.
I mean, to me, it's worth it. But you got to keep everybody. You got to keep that staff. Because that food just comes out, and like, I've never been to a restaurant that every single person is smiling as they eat. Whether it's an appetizer, whether it's a soup, whether it's a salad, like, nobody had a bad thing to say about their meal.
Now, have you been to the Garlic in New Smyrna?
No, I have not. You keep telling me about that one, so that's another one that I need to frequent. You know what? I'd say Enzo's, to me, in my opinion, is the Italian high-end Garp and Fuss.
That's why I want you to go.
Like, you know, you go to Garp and Fuss, and everything on the menu is amazing. Whether it's the food, whether it's the drinks, all the staff, Renee, like, everybody is just, it's like Cheers, but a restaurant. Like, everybody welcomes
That's
you.
a great description.
You feel like, oh shit, I'm walking into my mom's house or my uncle's house to have dinner. It doesn't even feel like you're walking into a restaurant. It feels like you're walking into someplace you always go. Yeah. And you're just getting a plate of food. You know?
And executive chef Liz is always sourcing locally, always changing things up.
That's why I love the farm to table.
She's super creative.
Yeah.
So
which reminds me, we got to go back there because I haven't had a Brenner in about 3 years.
Oh, so
don't tell me it's off the menu.
It's not. They changed the steak that they feature for the Brenner. It's now higher quality.
Ooh.
So,
I don't want to Uber Eats that. Oh yeah, you can throw a rock from your house and hit it. That's like a good. It's not even 20 miles from my house, but the traffic to get from Winter Park to Avalon.
That's trash.
Bro, by the time they got to it, fucking that thing would be cold.
And to me, it's you're right. It's the ambiance, it's the atmosphere.
Yeah.
It's friendly. I like the fact that it's tucked away in what's called the hidden garden.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll never forget my first experience there. I was talking to CJ, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go grab some dinner, and I don't know where to go. And he's like, "You ever been to Garden Plus?" I'm like,
Walk out the back door.
"No." He goes, "Really?" I said, "No." He goes, I'm like, "Where is it?" He goes, "It's right behind me." I'm like, "Huh? What do you mean right behind you?" He goes, "I'll show you." He took me out the back door and
Yep.
walk right in. He introduced me to Renee, and that was it. So, and when Bellicoso was open
They used to deliver.
on Park Avenue,
That was beautiful.
That was the best setup ever.
Oh,
and I
man.
could still be on Bellicoso's Wi-Fi inside Garden Plus.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to go in. That's the beauty of that. I didn't even have to go there. I can just order it.
And they bring it right over to you.
Yeah. Don't gotta put my cigar out and nothing. Man, that's what them the days that I miss.
I do miss the Park Avenue
Getting
days.
the wings, getting that printer,
I do too.
smoking. You almost had no reason to leave unless it got hot.
Even walking across the street to the Thai place.
Yeah, I ain't even been to that Thai place
Since that's what I'm saying.
I've been a few times.
I love that place. Awesome.
And just sitting out there, watching the drunk people walking in the boat.
Oh man,
So,
that was one of the highlights.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's interesting that still there's no location there.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be a shoe store.
And that didn't work. And then the location where Don was supposed to be a Mexican restaurant. They bailed, so that space is empty.
That place wasn't even big enough for a Mexican restaurant anyway. It wasn't big enough for a restaurant at all.
They had bought that outside patio and the space next to.
Oh, okay. Because I was gonna say that.
Yeah, they were going to do a whole build out, including that outdoor patio. So now that's empty too. So but that's what they get. They wanted Don to leave all those years. He's gone. Now they got nothing there. That's what they get. So
They ain't collecting no money.
Winter Park politics, man.
yep, Winter Park politics.
I mean, they're like the only. It seemed like unless it was a restaurant, the lounges were the only thing really making money.
Pretty much.
And I think I told you. I don't know if I shared it with you. Tom had asked me to inquire about a barrel program for entrepreneurs.
Yeah, we're still waiting on that.
And I reached out to Fawn, and she said barrel won't be available until barrel program won't be available until the spring.
So we gotta wait till the spring to go back.
We ain't gotta wait till spring to go back, but we gotta wait till spring for a barrel program. So
I was hoping to go back up before Thanksgiving.
let's go. We can go back before Thanksgiving. Why not? CJ said at any time we get the clearance from time.
No, the Sprinter van and let's roll.
Yeah, you go back up there. We do that again. You gotta come with us. We had so much fun, man. That was a good trip. It was a really good trip. So
This time, however,
Aaron ain't going.
well, not just that.
Did y'all not go to that? Go to some.
It's cool. Huh?
Did you guys not go to Nashville Cigars?
Nah, we did. We went to the Casa de Monte Cristo.
Somebody told me that's the place to go. Nashville.
Well,
Really?
that's where we got to go.
That's where we gotta go.
Casa de Monte Cristo was a fucking disappointment.
That was trash.
It was an utter disappointment, man.
Yes.
I was like, the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I heard that stuff was a good lounge. I don't know exactly where it is. I've never been there, but I've heard it's really nice.
But we were having a good conversation before we started this.
No.
I ain't talking.
You can forget about that.
That shit.
So when we first started that conversation, first I was like, no, it's all good. Let it go. Let it go.
Blood of Christ.
When you got
Huh?
I said through the blood of Christ you will prevail, sir.
Hey. I like I said, I mean, you a better man than me. I applaud you for your restraint. Out to put it mildly.
I mean,
Like that's just
when
that's
they choose, they choose. You gotta love the choice.
oh yeah. See that yeah.
So that's what.
I mean even the layout looks better.
Yeah.
I just don't know what it is.
Like you got a wide open dance floor with no music.
Yeah.
That's how Casa de Monte Cristo was. It was like
Oh, I'm looking at it on the map. We were literally.
don't tell me we were right around the corner from it.
We were literally right on the corner from it. I don't know how it did pop up.
The only thing about Nashville, Steve, their strip clubs are garbage.
I ain't never been there first. So.
Apparently, that's the destination that brides pick for their grooms' honeymoons because of that fact. Like legit.
So many other fun things I honestly never even. I don't think anybody ever came.
You ain't missing shit.
What is the Bachelorette capital of the world?
Right. You ain't missing shit.
I'm there for barbecue,
And that's
beer, and live music. That's the only reason why. That's the only thing there.
You know what I would like to do?
And the girls for many.
I'd like to go to Memphis.
Memphis, I love Memphis.
I'd like to like literally fly out to Memphis
Beale Street,
and have them meet us there with the van in Memphis,
hit BB King's Club,
and then tour Memphis, and then on the way back, stop in Nashville for 2 or 3 days.
That would work. That would be a nice trip.
And then go back to Uncle Nearest.
That'd be a nice trip. That'd be a nice trip.
Because I mean, it's so spread out.
It is.
Like really, really spread out.
Yeah, Nashville is a very spread out. And it take you a while to get.
It took us what 2 hours from Shelbyville to Nashville.
Getting across Nashville is actually 2 hours.
It was an hour. That shit felt like 2 hours. You wanna know why? You don't wanna know why? Because they ain't got no fucking street lights nowhere.
No.
Like that shit is the country. Like they ain't got shit.
They developed that
pitch
highway
black.
really, really early in that city's construction, and they never changed it.
And it'd be good to see how the development construction was going on the world's longest bar. And the
Yeah.
and
That
all
should
that
be
stuff,
done by now.
And all that other stuff that they were putting in there. Chef G. Garvin doing the menu.
That's gonna be
So, and it's about that time for them to start popping out more bottles of that 1820 too.
And that master blend.
Well, you can get that anytime. You just got to go there. But yeah, I still have a bottle of Master Blend. I haven't opened it.
Yeah, same here.
I opened it. It's in there though.
I couldn't bring myself to open it because I don't have 4 bottles in reserve. Because I feel like the first time I had Uncle Nearest, I was like, I got to go back and buy all 3 of the bottles. And then I ended up buying the case. And then I'm gone. Like, all I have is 1820 Master Blend.
Yeah,
and neither one of those bottles have been opened yet.
Yeah, I don't have 1820 anymore. I got Master Blend, 84, and 56.
Yeah. 56 and 84. And it's not that they're bad, but it's just that the 1820 is so good, and the Master Blend is so good
they're just
that I'm fucking spoiled now.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'll drink that if you have it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it ain't that, oh, let me get that.
Yeah.
Like, if you give me a choice.
Oh, 1820 all day. Or like, Master Blend all day.
You know, I'm like, yo, just, if you don't mind cracking that shit open.
I'd rather drink the 20. I actually like the 20 more than
that Master.
Yes,
That 20. That 20 is the one.
Either one to me.
Yeah.
Either one. They're just both. They're both great.
So I was here yesterday as Executive Cigar and Lounge had an event for Crux Cigars.
Oh shit. How was it?
It was well attended. They had a food truck outside. It was really good. They were here in July for something, so I remember getting a sandwich and it was good. It was well attended. Shmo Keeney was here. Kim Keeney, she was here, along with the guy who's the cousin of the owner. His name is Casey. The owner of Crux is a guy by the name of Jeff Howden, and he owns Tobacco Grove in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And so he partnered with Placencia. So,
Smart man.
Matter of fact, Placencia sent his nephew up to Minneapolis to work with him for 6 months so he can learn more about the retail side of the business.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. So, so I got a little 4-pack with the Crux Bull and the Bear. Full disclosure, I haven't had many Crux cigars, and those that I've had, the Bull and the Bear is by far my favorite.
Okay.
So there you go.
Oh, thank you.
Cool.
Yeah. I'll light this up next.
So let me know how that moves you. You're not going to run out and buy a case or a box of them or anything, but it's not a bad cigar.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that the hours have changed here too.
Yes. So the new hours of Executive Cigar and Lounge are from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. 7 days a week, except Fridays when they close at midnight. So it's interesting that they are extending their hours. A lot of changes are being made in light of new ownership with Joe Dalton buying out Alex's share, and now with Jason Falkenberg and Ash Quarterly as the GM. So we'll we'll see what they do to hopefully bring in more events, have greater attendance, and so forth and so on. Because to me, this place should be much busier than it is.
Yeah.
As much as I love Executive, I would love to see it
Packed
the way we see Cigars packed, the way we see Admiral packed, the way that Corona.
That's for sale too.
Yes, Admiral Cigars is for sale. 1.2 million. Miguel Castro wants $800K for the license and 400 for the business. But
should be 125.
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, that's way overpriced. The business, the 800, not so much.
The license, yeah, liquor license is a liquor license. It's gonna cost you.
Yeah, liquor licenses in Orange County is $600,000 if you can get one.
He's fine.
He's asking 8, and apparently the state of Florida caps the amount of liquor license they've granted. So it doesn't matter how much money you have; they've got to make a decision
Whether or not
you will get one. So
isn't it a situation where they're already what they have is what's out there? You have to buy from someone at this point. They're not producing anymore.
They are, but they only produce a limited amount every year.
and it's a lottery.
Yeah.
So like you got to pay into it, and you're not guaranteed that you're going to get that license.
Yes. So ideally, any spot that opens up that's selling full liquor, they got that license first. So, and I would imagine, this is the state of Florida. I would imagine there's the lottery, and then there's the back
door. Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll see. This is the second time in 2 years Miguel has put Agnew on the market. I remember when he did it back in 2020.
Yeah, we were talking to CJ about that,
and
about buying it.
And apparently his price was too high then.
Yeah.
It's like it's still too high now. But you never know. Maybe somebody from out of town will try to buy it. Also, I heard through the grapevine that an NFL franchise may be coming to Orlando.
Really?
And that NFL franchise is a current existing franchise that may be relocating. Apparently, this individual has got about $4 billion to spend, and so we will see if he's able to get that off the ground. Now, what's interesting about the NFL is that you draw a circle from one NFL franchise and go 250-mile radius out. That's how they lay out their franchise.
So how does that work? Because Tampa ain't 250.
It's not. However, Tampa's not going anywhere. Neither is Miami. So what's the other franchise in the state of Florida that could possibly be making a move? Jacksonville. There's more disposable income in Orlando than Jacksonville. The average income in Orlando is higher than Jacksonville. And in Jacksonville, they black out the seats in their stadium because they don't sell out. So it makes sense that Jacksonville, the current Jacksonville Jaguars franchise, would be the franchise that would potentially will be.
So they would be the Orlando Jaguars?
They'd probably rename them. So, but yeah, so
that'll be interesting.
It would be interesting, and I think it would do well because I look at it on two fronts. One, more people, more money, more disposable income, and two, they could play their games initially at Camping World. They just did a renovation. They added 17,000 seats. They can put 60,000 in there. And while they're doing that, they can get a stadium built.
Yeah.
And I'm sure wherever they build it, it has to be somewhere off I-4 for ease and accessibility. So we'll see if that gets off the ground. Yeah.
That would be very interesting. I mean, because then you'd have three major league sports. You got soccer, you got men's and women's soccer.
Not to mention we're in finals.
You got basketball. And then on top of that, now you're adding football.
Mm-hmm.
So
it sucks if that soccer team goes wins better games than we have a professional football team and basketball.
I mean, it happens. I mean, look at the DC United. They play way better.
Both LA teams
they play way better than the Commanders.
And look at the WNBA Chicago Sky. They're better than the Bears.
Wow.
They might be better than the Bulls.
No.
Now you're stretching yourself.
No.
Those are fighting words. Tell them, Art.
No.
Those are fighting words.
I mean,
come on, man. It's not tough. So, if Lonzo Ball is healthy, the Bulls will have a very good year. So,
well, if was a fifth,
we'd all be drinking.
we'd all be drinking.
So, but it looks like he's put his health problem behind him after his surgery. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he and DeMar DeRozan and the newly re-signed Zach LaVine do. So they got some talent.
Yeah, I'd like to see.
But yeah, it'd be cool to have an NFL franchise here because I would go.
I'd go, absolutely.
I would definitely go. Even
their jersey is fire.
even though they sucked for the first couple of years, probably
It wouldn't even matter.
I'd be going just so I could see
Other teams.
like the Chiefs come here or.
But they might not. They might not suck because, in perspective, team-wise, they have a decent team. I think sometimes that extra element of support and that having a group of people that really ride with you might make it different. You can get more attendance. Because I know people in Jacksonville really love the team and all, but the attendance doesn't really reflect.
Yeah, all 10 of them. All 10 of them.
So I just got a text from our good friend Cigar Porn Adrian.
Yeah.
She is having her birthday celebration this Tuesday.
I saw that. At,
Tasty
Historic.
Tuesday at Historic from 7:30 until.
Yeah.
So if you're in the Longwood area or if you're here and you're looking to go smoke a cigar, you like the cigar porn paraphernalia like Art's wearing here, by all means, fall through, smoke a cigar, have a drink. Heard the lounge is beautiful. Haven't been there yet.
That's right. That's another one.
I
Finally got you over to the Leaf. Leaf's nice, isn't it?
I love the Leaf. I love the Leaf. It is spacious. Cigar selection's good. They got full liquor. They even got a fucking pool table.
I thought about going there Monday morning to the back where the water side is to watch that
the launch.
That Artemis launch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if he's doing something for that.
I wonder too. I don't think so because he opens at 10 or 11, and the launch is scheduled between 8 and 10.
8 and 10, yeah.
So
But that would be nice to go set up out there right on the beach. Because the beach is literally behind the store.
Right there.
It's right across the street. Like, it's not even a street, it's a parking lot.
Yeah, you can see
And
the
then
launch
there's the
back
beach.
there.
So, and apparently the Artemis is so big that we should be feeling the after effects all the way here in Central Florida.
Yes, Rupert and I were talking about that. He said it's
It's massive.
It's massive. So So what else? What else is going on?
I don't know. I just been on some funny shit this week.
You have that.
It's been, just been enjoying the new year around the sun.
And that story you told before taping.
Oh man, that shit.
That's some folly for your jolly right there.
It'll be in my memoirs.
Yeah, you got to write that one.
Fuck yeah, that's got to be like the opening story.
No, that's too good. You got to make people read a little bit more before you get to that.
Nah, because think about it. If he told us that, how much other wild shit? And this is Steven. Steven's very reserved. So if this is the story that he tells us, he's done some way wild. You see how quiet that motherfucker is? He's sipping water over here now?
Go.
He got some shit. I can only imagine them deployment stories. Because I know my deployment stories, so I can only imagine.
Yeah, he shared a couple of his deployment stories. That's serious quality right there. That's some P-Valley shit.
Yeah. They call him Little Murder.
No, don't call him that. Don't call him that.
I know some little murders.
Oh, you Andre.
No.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Just call me Diamond, baby.
Yes.
Hey, shout out to Diamond. He done brought his girl on the show.
That's my favorite character.
He cool as hell.
I like Coach's wife.
Oh, she real as fuck too.
Those pictures she took, those were awesome.
Yeah, those are really good pictures.
Those are really good pictures. Send her that check too.
Cut the check.
I can't wait till season 3. It's gonna be interesting. I think it'll be better without the Autumn Night character actually, because just about everybody that I know, including my daughter who's watched that show, doesn't care for her character.
But that's probably why. That's also.
But that's why
the show is good too.
I was gonna say, because you got to think about a lot of
Yeah,
the series
that's
that
right.
we used to watch. We're used to watching. Think about The Chi. Think about Sopranos.
Yeah, that's somebody that hates.
You know,
Yeah.
shit. City on the Hill.
Yeah, yeah,
Like that show.
yeah. You gotta have
Like you gotta have that just
like
asshole, self-centered, arrogant, character
yeah.
who you hate. I mean,
The
think
guy-
about it.
the guy
Like,
that-
look at Power.
The guy who plays Derek on P-Valley, he said people come up to him in real life and like, I hate you. Why did you do that? Blah, 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 blah. He's like, I'm playing a character. And they said, in real life, he's the nicest guy in the world. He's all Black Lives Matter. And he's the complete opposite of his character. But when you're playing your role right, that's,
Look at Tariq and Power. You can't stand like mother. I can't hate that motherfucker.
yeah, I'm still mad at him because he got his sister killed.
I tell you the most hated
But-
character on the TV show. Old boy on BMF.
Oh.
That
Oh.
I hated.
Yeah, yeah.
I hated his.
Came out of jail with that one goal too.
Yeah.
Man, the way
Just-
he plays that character, I know that's not him as a person.
But-
he is a
but-
great actor. He was the worst.
But let's be real though.
And that
You
makes
know
watch, makes
motherfuckers
you
like that.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know motherfuckers
That's
like that in
why
your
I
life.
didn't like him because I'm like, man,
You
just
remind me of a
like-
motherfucker I know. That's what I'm saying. It's just like,
Yeah.
damn, I can't. But you can't not watch because you like, what is he gonna do next?
Yeah. And going back to P Valley, I knew someone in the Chicago church scene, just like the mom, old girl's mom. I knew somebody just like that too. All about the money, but they know scripture.
You got to know what you're talking about to get paid.
Yeah,
You got to know what you're talking about to get paid.
it's a business.
It's just business.
And now she's there.
Chuckalisa.
That's gonna be wild. That's what I'm looking for. Is how she gonna be. She gonna be the mayor. Chuckalisa.
What a name!
Oh man, I was reading something the other day. Just going back, it was off the Shits and Giggles podcast, and they got this thing called X, like things that aggravate you. So I wanted to ask Steven this because he's very reserved in speaking about people or speaking about things. So what are the top 3 things, Steven, that will make you just smack a motherfucker?
Oh, and before you answer that, the dude that plays Big L, I know him from Chicago.
Oh,
He's
shit.
from Morocco. Because Caitlin sent him a tweet. He said, "Oh, my dad remembers you on the West Side." He was like, "Oh, tell your dad I'm doing this for all of us." Real cool. So, but yes, what are the things that, for you, being as reserved as you are, aside of somebody putting their hands on you, because I know your philosophy is, I'd rather avoid a fight if I have to. But what are your triggers that you're like, the guardrails are off, somebody's getting put in the dirt?
I'll put the first one in the same context. Messing with the innocent. I don't like that at all. Men,
Okay.
women, and children, and disabled people.
That's one of the reasons why I am surprised that R. Kelly is still alive. Because all the girls that he messed over in Chicago, I'm just, and he was never hiding. He was always out in the open, always visible, always able to get to. I always thought in my head somebody was going to kill him. Because you messed with the wrong person's daughter. That's it. That's it. I just do not understand.
Yeah, I can't.
But I'm
I
with
can't
you.
fathom that.
But I'm with you.
Yeah, like innocent, and that's beyond just like hitting or beating or anything like that. Like just generally stepping on people that are in a less fortunate place or position,
Yeah.
where you know you have ultimate power in that arena, and you choose to step all over somebody. That's some whole shit. That's people do that all the time. people have a nerve to think that it's okay. It's not okay.
No.
It's not okay to do that. You know that really be making you fight. Like you want to punch somebody in the face over something like that.
One of the things I most admired about my mom was that she was a social worker for the state of Illinois, and her specialty was child abuse of handicapped children.
No shit.
So she saved a ton of lives, and in her career, she only lost one case. This judge, this woman was on drugs. They took her child. My mom had her child taken from her. She was clean for 6 months. She petitioned the judge to get her child back. My mom said she's not ready. It's not soon enough. The judge was like, no, she's clean, reunited with her family. So the judge reunited this woman with her child. And a week later, the woman was messed up on drugs and killed the baby by putting the baby in a vat of boiling oil.
Fuck.
Yeah. And my mom was so angry. She was like, I knew it. But that was the only case she ever lost. But there are times where she'd have to have, when people were like, you're not coming to take my child, she called Chicago police. They rolled 5-6 cars deep, and they would escort her in there, and she would go get them kids. But she had a way of discovering abuse for kids who really couldn't voice them for themselves. Either it's the way they looked, or the way they tried to talk, or even one person told her she was being abused just by the way she blinked, and my mom just figured it out.
Got that feeling.
Yeah. So yeah. So what else triggers you? Because you asked for 3, right?
Terrible fucking drivers. Terrible drivers. Like they
don't live in Atlanta.
I mean, to me, I think it's really a mixture of a lot of different places because I think everybody thinks their drivers are better, and most of driving is just being courteous, making sure you're not in a rush to do something, and then understanding, realizing mentally where you are when you're trying to drive a car. So like, you're late and you're trying to get somewhere quick. There's nothing wrong with moving fast, going where you're trying to go in a quick manner. But when you run up in the traffic, it's kind of being stoic about it. You got to realize this is the fate that God has laid in front of you. Accept it. Don't push it. And just let it be, because you're in a rush trying to move through heavy traffic, and you might kill somebody that didn't come there intending to have a fight. That's just like me and you. If me and you have a disagreement, and then we choose we gonna fight to the death. That's an understanding. We both have chosen to step in that arena to do this thing. But a lot of times, people put people in an arena with a fight to the death, and they don't even know they're in that. But you have all intentions to do that. And the last one is kind of almost the same thing to a certain extent, but people who like to fuck up a good time. I can't stand that shit, bro. Like,
so interesting. All things.
Sometimes you can just shut the fuck up and sit down and leave it be. Sometimes, and that could be a lot of different things. That could go to the extreme of you insecure as hell, you like to be the center of attention, but this ain't about you. This is about everybody else. And you fucking up a good time. Or it could be a matter of you downtown, just like the issue in downtown now. You downtown, you on some hood stuff, or you that kind of person that's always active trying to do something, bro. You're somewhere where these people don't want to do that. Go somewhere else and do that. That's the one thing, and I ain't gonna say I do like them or don't like them, but that's the one thing about old gangsters that I kind of can understand. They realize, hey, there's just some people that ain't in this, that's civilians that don't do this stuff. Let's do our dirt over here and keep the innocence out of this. Mm-hmm. But people nowadays, people in general, they just want to bring their world into other people's world. And there's some places where that shit don't happen. People don't
belong. Yeah.
You lumping them in. Like, some of them people getting shot at, they didn't come there to get shot. They didn't come there to deal with that. They don't want to have to deal with that idea. And I think a lot of times people put other individuals in trauma, and they don't realize they got to deal with that for the rest of their lives because they civilians. They don't know how to function in a world of chaos. Yeah. They know how to function in a normal, average, everyday world of chaos, but not the kind where people die in the process. even warfare. You know, you gonna go fuck up people's houses, run through this and that because you got a disagreement. Handle that shit somewhere else. Let people be able to move how they want to move and do whatever they need to do. But that stuff be irritating me a lot. I be seeing people do it all the time. Because there are particular places you know that when it comes to hanging out or doing something, you're not gonna go there solely because you know that's how shit go down. You take it for what it is. You don't go with it because you don't want to deal with that kind of stuff. There's certain clubs when I was growing up, you didn't even go out there because you already know people on some BS.
Yeah.
You don't want to deal with it.
Yeah.
But then they want to come and, you know, come over somewhere where people don't do that kind of stuff and then try to be, oh, I'm going to do this here because I'm dealing with this dude. Or I'm beefing with this dude right here. Take that shit to the streets and go deal with it.
Yeah.
Yep.
True.
How about you, Art?
So, so I won't repeat this first one because I definitely feel that way too about taking advantage of children, handicapped elderly people, that kind of thing. Second one for me is, it kind of falls on the same vein, are men who are physically abusive to women. I wasn't raised that way. I had no tolerance for it. I almost paid the ultimate price protecting my own mom against something like that. So, yes, I'm against that. Men are just naturally bigger, stronger, faster than women by and large. So I always have the mindset of when it gets to that point, if you can defend yourself, yes, but once you start swinging on a woman, it's not fair. So, second, are abusive cops. I've had several situations growing up where cops put guns in my face, over stupid stuff, trying to, be intimidating and so forth. So people who abuse power and authority, I have little, no respect for. And the last is probably people who are just plain out and in your face racist because it's bigoted and prejudiced because it's a form of self-hate, but then they are reflecting it back on you for no reason. Nobody gets a choice as to what ethnicity they're born, what gender they're born, what color they're born, what country they're born in. So to categorically hate somebody just because of that and no other reason is just absolutely aberrant to me. It's something I'll never understand. Now, granted, we all have our own conscious and subconscious biases.
Absolutely.
My mom and my grandmother used to argue all the time because when my grandmother wanted work done on her house, she said, I don't want anybody white working on my house because they charge too much and I don't trust them. I don't want anybody black working on my house because they'll steal from me. She only wanted Mexicans to work on her house because she always said they worked hard. So, and they were cheaper. So, so she and my mom would get into it all the time. And my mom basically saying, you have good and bad no matter
everywhere.
So, but my grandmother had her own biases, and my mom always charged her own biases. So.
I hate that perpetuation of stuff like that because I was watching a documentary the other day. I think it was like something about Beyond the Web or something like that. It's on Netflix. It was a documentary. It was talking about this girl that was trying to debate whether she was a Nazi or not because she was a Nazi.
Oh.
And they were talking about all the politicized, like the T-Torch guys and this and that. And I understand it, and I think, like, particularly because race is kind of like very obvious in the South. People are very blatant about how they feel about things. I get that people have this way of kind of like pivoting off of, oh, it's not about this, it's not about that. You kind of got to be really careful about the things you say and the things you think about people, particularly if you're a particular race of people. It's just not cool how people try to change the narrative and the reality of history about a group of people. Like, for instance, one of the biggest things they were talking about is just like They wanted to make sure that they felt like they were losing. I mean, the people, during the whole Trump era and all that, when they were running,
What's up, cousin?
What up, man?
just the idea of losing your country. And I remember watching this whole episode, thinking to myself, if you hated these people so much, why did you import these people? Now, why is it that you import all these people here to do all this slavery, and then you got the nerve to want them to leave and say you're losing the country? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like,
Because they want the benefits of the labor without, they want the benefits without the responsibility and the accountability. That's why. That's exactly why.
and I always, like, I hear some of these guys talking, I always, I know you can't have a logical conversation with somebody that thinks like that, but it's just like, you almost want to ask, why, if you feel this way, why would your ancestors do this if that's the case? If that's how you really felt, if you really felt that these people are a detriment of your environment, your culture, and everything here, because if you think about it in perspective, and if you really read history, not left or right history, but history based on the things that happened and that were documented. Technically, colonial America, colonial Europe were the last people to get to this country because there was proof that African cultures had already been here. We know Indians are derivative of Asian heritage. Everyone else had already been here, practically. So now you're just saying,
Fuck Columbus.
yeah, it's just, and I mean, I think I was telling you too, Art, about the whole thing with
Columbus Day. He didn't discover shit. He was the last to get here.
Yeah, I mean, you had a whole group of people that held cultures. Just in the book I was telling you about, California. Just California alone, the amount of Native American cultures that were in California, the state of California alone, and the amount of genocide in California, nobody talked about, nobody mentioned. The fact that half of California was Mexico, and there were people who had their own businesses, they had their own farms and everything, and then they just say, oh, well, let's kick them out.
Texas too.
Yeah. And then have the nerve to come to a country or come to a state and say, this is ours because manifest destiny.
See, my list ain't even that complex.
All right, give me your three.
My shit is people who abuse their power. That's my number one, like you said. Like, and not just child, but anybody who abuses the position they're in. But my second and third one, like, I'm on some basic shit. Like, I fucking hate mouth breathers.
Huh?
People who breathe through their mouth and not their nose, like they
There's
breathe
much stuff in their nose they can't breathe.
Like Nate last.
he was fucking asleep. That shit don't count.
Yeah, it does.
But that, and then people who chew with their mouth open.
Oh, so those are some real.
They chew like cows.
Oh, we were more serious, so you're the more petty.
My shit, man. That shit.
But that,
I've been in
don't
restaurants.
like it, but it don't make you necessarily want to fight people. Now, people that abuse power, that's totally different. That's like a whole.
Nah,
Yeah,
when you at a restaurant and you got somebody eating steak and you there, that shit, bro. That lip smacking. Oh my god. I will lose
I just
my
assumed
shit.
everybody's mom was like, yo, you can't shoot at your mouth.
I will lose my shit. I have literally gotten the check and left the restaurant because I fucked with
He said no.
Because they just be mouth open all the time like a dog with their tongue out. I'm like, close your fucking mouth. Like, my shit is basic. Like, I didn't get to in depth because, like, it's that simple shit to me. That's just like you said, your mom taught you better. Your parents taught you better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you should just know better. But on that note, we're going to close the show today. Very interesting conversation. Plus, I want to pick up this topic we were talking about beforehand because we clearly can't talk about it on the show. So, respectfully, we're going to end the show so we can continue this conversation off air. Because that shit just, like I said,
You are like that, D. People die every day.
So, on behalf of Stephen BM, the Cigar Savage, aka Sir Shirts and Shoes,
For the last Saturday.
Saturday in August.
Welcome to September. Make it a month to remember.
Shout out to NB, shout out to Inspector Gadget, and myself, the Cigar Snob. Always eat well, drink well, and go ahead and
Smoke well.
smoke well, of course.
And always
Aim center mass.
How
Fuck
you
with
gonna
your
try to
head.
be mad at this teacher for being thick?
Ain't she fine?
Fine as hell.
Man, that's
You
so
seen that?
messed
You seen
up.
that sheriff in Georgia? Motherfuckers on Twitter turning themselves in like, "Hey, I stole $1 out of my mama's purse, 10 years ago. This is my address."